Come closer, settle in, and let the noise of your world fade away. Let me tell you a story, a whisper from the ancient world, carried on the warm desert wind. It is a story of power, of ambition, and of a love that would set the world on fire. It is the story of the first meeting between the Queen of the Nile and the most powerful soldier in Rome. Part 1. The Shadow of Rome. Picture the city of Rome, but not the triumphant marble white city of postcards. Imagine it shrouded in a cool, damp fog of fear. The Republic is dead, its ideals nailed to the stone walls on lists. Lists of names, proscription lists, each name a death sentence. The air is thick with paranoia, the metallic scent of blood and betrayal. From this chaos, 3 men have risen, the triumvirate, and the most powerful of them, the true heir to Caesar's legions, is Marcus Antonius, Mark Antony. He is a soldier through and through. His face is weathered by 100 campaigns. His hands are strong, calloused, made for holding a sword, not for signing decrees. He is tired, so tired of the backstabbing politics of Rome, the cold, calculating eyes of his young rival Octavian. He sits in a dark room, the flickering lamplight casting deep shadows on the walls. The wine in his cup is bitter. He craves something more, something real. His gaze falls upon a map of the East, a land of ancient secrets, unimaginable wealth, and legendary kingdoms. The East is a promise, an escape. It is there, he decides, that he will build his new world. It is there he will find the gold to pay his loyal soldiers. And it is there he will be a king, not just a politician. The Queen of the Sun. Now, let your mind travel south, far to the south, across the deep blue of the Mediterranean. Feel the air grow warm, thick with the scent of lotus flowers and spice. We are in Alexandria, the golden city, the jewel of Egypt. And here, in a sun-drenched chamber of her palace, sits a woman, Cleopatra. She is more than a queen. She is the heir to a dynasty of gods and scholars. In her veins flows the blood of conquerors. She has just received news of the triumvirate's victory. A victory for them is a problem for her. She had supported their enemies, playing the great game of power as she always did. Her advisors are panicking. They speak of Roman legions, of conquest, of surrender. But Cleopatra, she does not panic. Her beautiful face shows no fear. Instead, her sharp, intelligent eyes see not a threat, but an opportunity. She knows these Romans. She knew Caesar intimately. And she knows of Mark Antony. She has heard the stories of his brilliance in battle, his strength, but also his weaknesses, a love for spectacle, for pleasure, for grand gestures, for life lived to its fullest. He is not a cold calculator like Octavian. He is a man of passion. And passion, she understands. Part 3. The Summons. Antony, now in the east, establishes his court. Local kings and princes bow before him, offering tribute, offering gold. But one ruler is absent, the Queen of the Nile. It is a slight he cannot ignore. He sees it as an act of defiance. He, the master of the Roman world, will not be ignored. He summons his scribe and dictates a message, a command. It is sharp, simple, and cold. Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt, is to present herself before him in the city of Tarsus, to answer for her loyalty. He expects a vassal, a trembling queen begging for his mercy. He sees himself as the judge, and she, the accused. He has no idea that he is not the one setting the trap. The floating masterpiece. When the summons arrives in Alexandria, Cleopatra's court is filled with whispers of fear. But a slow smile plays on the queen's lips. A stage has been set for her, and she is the greatest actress the world has ever known. She will not go to him as a beggar. She will arrive as a goddess. The shipyards of Alexandria come alive, but they are not building a vessel for travel. They are crafting a dream. She oversees every detail herself. The stern of the barge is covered in shimmering gold, catching the sunlight like a star. The oars are not wood, but solid silver, polished to a mirror shine. And the sails? Oh, the sails! They are woven from the finest silk and dyed in Tyrian purple, a color so rare, so expensive, it is reserved for emperors and gods. The air around the ship is perfumed with the most exotic incenses. Every detail is a calculated part of her strategy. A demonstration of wealth, yes. A show of power, of course. But also a delicate, irresistible act of seduction. This ship is not meant to sail on water. It is meant to float into Antony's imagination and capture him forever. Part 5. The Arrival of a Goddess. In Tarsus, Antony waits and waits. The sun is hot. He is growing impatient, then angry. The delay is an insult. His Roman officers stand beside him, their arrogance simmering. They are ready to teach this insolent queen a lesson in Roman authority. He is the conqueror, the judge, waiting for the guilty to arrive. And then, something appears around the bend of the river. First, it is the scent, a sweet, intoxicating perfume of myrrh and frankincense drifting over the water. A scent so magical, it silences the birds. Then, the sound, not of soldiers, but the soft, enchanting music of flutes and lyres, a melody that seems to pull at the very soul. And finally, they see it. The barge. The purple sails glow like a sunset. The golden stern blazes in the afternoon light. The silver oars dip into the water in a slow, hypnotic rhythm. not rowed by slaves, but by her handmaidens, dressed as sea nymphs. The Roman soldiers, these hardened veterans, are speechless. Their jaws hang open. They forget their arrogance. They forget their anger. They are staring at a vision, a living myth. And there, on the deck, under a gilded canopy, reclines Cleopatra herself. She is dressed not as a queen, but as Venus, the goddess of love. Young boys, dressed as cupids, stand beside her, fanning her with gentle breezes. In that single, breathtaking moment, the psychological battle is over. He came to judge her, but she arrived to enchant him. Antony, the great general, the master of half the world, had lost the first round without a single word being spoken. Part 6. The Winter of Delight. The hard accusations Antony had prepared melted away like snow in the sun. He stepped onto her barge and entered her world. He found not a nervous subject, but an equal. Her wit was as sharp as any sword, her intellect dazzling. They spoke for hours, not as ruler and vassal, but as two brilliant minds dancing around subjects of philosophy, history, and politics. He followed her back to Alexandria for the winter, and that winter became a legend. He, who had lived a hard life in military camps, was now immersed in a world of unimaginable luxury. They hunted in the desert by day and feasted by night. They formed their own secret society, calling themselves the Inimitable Livers, a group dedicated to finding new pleasures each and every day. Disguised as commoners, they would sneak out of the palace at night, wandering the vibrant, torch-lit streets of Alexandria, playing harmless pranks, drinking in taverns, laughing, free from the weight of their crowns. In these stolen moments, he was not a general and she was not a queen. They were simply a man and a woman, finding a rare and profound connection. In the quiet halls of the great library, she showed him another side of herself, the scholar, the intellectual. She read to him from ancient scrolls, her voice a soft whisper in the still, papyrus-scented air. He was captivated not just by her beauty, but by her mind. And, inevitably, their intellectual and emotional connection became a physical one. Theirs was a passion born of equals, a constant, thrilling game of surrender and control, a dance of two powerful souls who had finally met their match. Antony forgot Rome. The urgent messages from his allies, the warnings of his generals, they all seemed to belong to another faraway world. The only world that... Part 7. The Harsh Awakening. But the real world cannot be ignored forever. Reality arrived with the force of a battering ram. A messenger from Rome, exhausted and dust-covered, stumbled into the palace. The news he carried was disastrous. While Antony had been lost in his Egyptian dream, war had broken out in Italy. His own wife and brother had raised an army against Octavian and had been crushed. His power base in Rome was crumbling, and as if that wasn't enough, the Parthians, Rome's most feared enemies, had invaded Roman territory in the east. The borders were on fire. The party was over. The dream had ended. In a single moment, Antony was ripped from his paradise and thrown back into the harsh, unforgiving world of Roman duty. He was a triumvir again, a general, a Roman, and Rome was calling him home. Part 8. The Farewell. Their farewell was heavy with unspoken words. He stood on the dock, no longer in soft Egyptian linens, but in the hard, cold leather and metal of his Roman armor. He had to go. To save his legacy, to fight his wars, to be what he was born to be. She stood before him, her face a mask of love, sorrow, and iron resolve. As his ship pulled away, gliding out of the magnificent harbor of Alexandria, she watched until it was just a speck on the horizon. She placed a hand gently on her stomach. Beneath her heart, she carried his children. A secret she kept for that moment. A bond that could never be broken. The game was far from over. In fact, it had just truly begun. She was no longer just the lover of a Roman general. She was the mother of his heirs, and for them, she would fight to the very end. And so he sailed away, back to his world of steel and stone. And she remained in her world of gold and sunlight, waiting. Their story was not over. It was simply the end of the first chapter. And now it is time for you to rest, to drift away and to sleep. Sleep now. Sleep deep.